Welcome to Season 4 of Soccer Over Gotham, an NWSL podcast covering New Jersey, New York, Gotham FC, hosted by Ruby Pinto and produced by Gary Gibson. Welcome to episode 121 of Soccer Over Gotham. This is Rose Shakes Off the Thorns edition. We have a great show for all of you. Gary, what do we have in this episode?
Not much. Just Gotham winning their first ever home playoff game in front of a record crowd. I mean, if you're into that sort of thing, I guess stick around because we're going to talk a lot about that. But at this point, Gotham has not lost in league play since September 1st, and then one time since July and twice since May. So things are going pretty well. Also on this podcast, we're going to discuss voting for the NWSL awards. That has begun, and we have 2 players in the awards, and not enough Gotham players are in there. We'll talk about that too. And then we will break down this incredible win and see why I was right about nobody wanting to see Gotham in the playoffs. Then we will preview our next match in Washington, which has now been officially announced as a sellout. So it's going to be a hostile environment. It's going to be fun. It's going to be wild. Let's go to it. So, but Ruby, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's been a week since everything that happened with the elections, and it's been hard for everyone. But guys, I just want to say I kind of left Twitter for a little bit. So you guys can find me on Threads now and also on Blue Sky. So if you guys are interested, I'll be there a little bit more now until it kind of dies down over there. But other than that, I'm doing great. Hopefully, honestly, this weather is kind of a bummer. I know it's November and it's supposed to be cold, but yeah, hopefully, I think it gets in the 60s and during the weekend. So it's going to be really, really nice this weekend. Another thing is I'm still super, super hyped from the game at Red Bull Arena, and we're going to talk about that. But how are you, Gary?
Good. We are on Blue Sky now. Another platform. I can't leave Twitter quite yet as far as the podcast, but I could probably leave Twitter. Yeah, I hear you. But find us over there if you're over there, so we can continue doing more stuff there. It's very similar to Twitter, so hopefully maybe we can start pushing polls over there and getting a bigger fan base there, but, is what it is. Quick shout out to my girlfriend and her Lehigh Valley Roller Derby. They had an unbeaten season, so
Ooh.
Undefeated all season, which is awesome. I went to their holiday party. It was a lot of fun. I also finished another book. I'm very proud of myself. It's been tough. But it was The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. It was good. The ending's a bit frustrating, but it's worth reading. If you get a chance to, check it out. All the books I'm reading right now are about escaping. I just want to get into a different world somewhere else, so far away in a different plane, in a different dimension. So I'm reading The Lies of Locke Lamora right now, and it's a long book, but I have some time coming up, so hopefully I'll be able to finish it.
Oh, that's awesome. I need to start reading a little more. I haven't read in a while, but I didn't start watching. I kind of restarted watching again the Umbrella Academy, not that you were talking about other worlds and how they're time travel, and I started watching it yesterday again because I think the 4th season's out, and I was like, it had a little recap on it, and I was like, I do not remember anything that happened the last season. So now I'm rewatching the last season, and I have to watch the new season. But I've heard it's not that great, but I'm still gonna watch it because I feel like I just need to finish it at this point.
Let's talk about this team. First, the NWSL season awards are up. You can vote for AKB for Keeper of the Season, and then Juan Carlos Amaros for Coach of the Year. Ruby, what do you think about them getting these 2 awards, or possibly?
I hope they get the awards, but I am so happy they got nominated for this, and I do feel the same way as you. I do feel that more Gotham players should have been in this list. But the 2 that we got, well-deserved, especially Juan Carlos Amaros for doing such a great job this year as well with Gotham. We thought it was going to be I guess in music you call it a one-hit wonder. I don't know what you would call it in soccer, but we thought it was going to be that way with Gotham this year. But he's proven that, he's a great coach, and well-deserved the nomination. And then Berger, of course, she deserves to be there. One of the best keepers in the league. What do you think?
I agree with you on Juan Carlos. He has the best second season of a championship winning team in league history. And he's done this with rotated lineups and players in and out. And he's been able to manage all of that. And he got us into a Summer Cup final, the semifinals of the Champions Cup. We're 2 wins away from another NWSL championship. I think that is super impressive. And he's made a positive atmosphere and everyone likes playing for him. And it's been good. He's got a 62.7% win percentage, which is pretty darn crazy. Pretty darn crazy. Then when it comes to Anne, what else can be said? She's had 8 clean sheets. She has had 0 errors leading to goals this season. She's been solid and just stepped right in and upgraded the level of the team to like a whole new level. And just it's a completely different team with her there when she's not there. She's been great. And then obviously she's elevated her own game because now she's with the German national team all the time and starting there and started the Olympics. She's having an incredible season. But I will say one player that I think that is left out of this, which I'm very upset about, is Sonnet. I think Sonnet should have been in there for Defender of the Year. I think that's a crime that she's not in there.
She definitely got robbed there because she's been having an incredible season. So I do not understand why she's not there. But just know, Sonnet, you are our Defender of the Year.
Yes, our fans are never wrong. Also today, ESPN put out their top 50 women's footballers of the year. And obviously this is completely meaningless and arbitrary and subjective. But yeah. But 3 Gotham players made the top 50 list. Esther made number 50.
Okay.
Roosevelt made number 44. And Anne-Catherine made number 25. Pretty impressive considering the list. And obviously it seems like they weigh European players higher than U.S. players. It is what it is. But all 3 of those players are having incredible seasons. So good for them. Any thoughts on that list?
So I think some of these players should be higher, especially Roosevelt. And I do agree with you how they rank European players higher. When we had European players come to the league, they always say that it's much harder to play in the NWSL. So, doesn't make sense, but okay, we'll go with it.
And some more Sonnet erasure. She should be on that list.
Yes.
Let's talk about this crazy game that we went to. And again, the first playoff game in club history, a record crowd. It was 15,540 people in attendance, but who's counting? All top 3 seeds had all advanced this playoffs, which is interesting. And I think for Portland coming to Harrison, we had Sinclair's last game it wasn't her last game until it was over. But Weaver was back in the lineup, and they looked like a team that could possibly have a 2023 Gotham type run in the playoffs. They were kind of set up that way, playing for their captain and just having enough talent to sneak in. And if they can, do that. I also have just one ref note, and that is Chesky. So Ruby, let's talk about this atmosphere. You brought family to this game?
So at the end, they ended up not coming. So it was me and my wife either way. But yeah, we had so much fun. It was pretty much sold out. So by the time we got tickets, the ones available were in the upper bowl. Ooh. But let me tell you, it's such a great view over there.
Right.
Like I was like, oh man, I'm not going to be closer. But I was actually surprised the view that I had up there. It was really good. And I could see plays a little bit better from over there and the passing and stuff. So I was like, okay, this is not bad at all. And it got pretty full up there too. And the energy was so great. Everyone was cheering. Everyone was so into the game. Like, honestly, I think it was one of the best games I've been to at Red Bull Arena.
Yeah, I over my time going to that arena, I sat pretty much everywhere, and there's not a bad seat. I can't remember sitting somewhere like, oh, I can't see anything or whatever. The higher you go up, the more eagle-eye view you have. And as a commentator, that's not the worst thing because you can see almost all the pieces moving at the same time, which is nice. So on the night, Eli Manning was in attendance. Cory Booker was in attendance. The New York Sirens were there in attendance. Did you notice anybody else?
No, I think that was it. I wasn't able to see I think they had like a drummer like people in there. I saw the picture you posted.
I hope they keep doing that. It's so fun. It's a great atmosphere. They get to hang out with, Cloud9. They did the walk to the stadium with, I think, Cloud9 too. And I hope I'm getting this right, but it's just Fogo Azul is the drum line. What's really interesting about them is I went and looked them up, and they are the New York City's first, I think, all-women, trans, non-binary Brazilian samba reggae drum line. So it's really cool. And it's another, beautiful.
That's so awesome. I wish I could have seen it. When I got in the car, I was going to get there on time, actually early. But as I got closer to the stadium, like my time kept changing. So I literally got there at kickoff. I missed the little fireworks. I was walking to the stadium when I saw the fireworks go off. And I was like, oh my God, I'm missing it. So I started running to find my seat. But yeah, I got there on time for the kickoff.
That's usually me getting there like right at halftime, right at the kickoff. So on the lineup is really interesting. We have Tiernan Davidson and Delaney going in as questionable. Then we have Cece Kaiser still out for her foot. But this lineup is really interesting, Ruby. So obviously we have Ann Berger in goal. But I think the most interesting thing is Davidson is starting, which right back into the starting lineup. Awesome. Yeah. But the most interesting thing about this lineup is the outside backs. No Bernina, no Niswanger. And Niswanger looked healthy. They went with Freeman and Jess Carter as the outside backs. And I'm curious your thoughts on sitting Niswanger for a playoff game.
I know. That was a little crazy. Yeah, that was a little crazy. And about Davidson, I didn't think she was going to start, especially after seeing the report that she was questionable. So I was like, probably she will be a sub. But seeing her start, I was like, okay, so she must be feeling confident. She must be feeling good. And then last week, we were kind of like saying, who do you think it's going to start? Is it going to be Freeman or not? And I wanted Freeman to start, and we got that. And you were like, I think Carter's going to start. And then Carter started in this game as well. So when I saw them, I was on the field at the same time. I was like, no way. I was like, that is crazy that they didn't put Niswanger. I wonder why they didn't. But I also think that Mandy Freeman has earned her spot in like starting this game, especially her performances in the last two games have been pretty good. So I think it must have been a hard decision, but hey, I think Juan Carlos did the right thing.
Obviously, we love Mandy Freeman on the show, and we like her as a person. And she's been playing fantastic as an outside back after being a center back for so long in her career. And Juan Carlos is a mad scientist. He will give players chances to get a run of games. And I guess he's just sticking with it. But do you think he is bold enough to roll with Freeman over Niswanger for the entire playoffs? Do you think that's possible?
Ooh. Wow. Okay, so we're playing Washington next.
Trinity Rodman against Niswanger. I mean,
wow, that's going to be a hard decision too, to see who's going to play. But looking at this lineup and seeing how he chose Mandy Freeman to start in this game, honestly makes me confident and that we have such a great team all around. Like he can put Mandy and he knows that she's going to perform, and he can put Niswanger at any time as well, and we know she's going to perform.
Running Niswanger onto the pitch at like the 85th minute is kind of crazy to be able to do that.
Right.
And then we had Ellis Stevens was starting because Delaney Sheehan was on the bench, so she did not start this game, which we talked about this last week. You said that, every time she's not in the lineup, I'm asking for Delaney Sheehan. Was that something that you were doing during this game?
I did. Oh my God. I definitely did. I was like in the second half, who was the player? I forgot which player I thought was tired. And I was like, we need to bring Sheehan in. Because you could tell we got some tired legs out there. And I know she's going to be the one that's going to get us to closer to goal and score. And probably 5 to 10 minutes later, I saw her coming in and I was so excited. And then she came in and I noticed that she had the one leg sleeve, a black one on her. I was like, oh, that's so cool. I mean, she's wearing it for other reasons, but it just looked cool. And then when she assisted the goal, I was like, I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah, she saw last week and she's like, I'm both a game changer and an MVP candidate. Take that, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So in the first half of this game, I mean, this is pretty typical Gotham in the playoffs, where they're just going to pin teams in and just hold them there. And they had 57% possession in the first half. They held the Thorns to at least 75% or less passing. They had only 50 passes out of their own half, and they had one shot that came late in the half. I know Sophia Smith had one offside goal called back, but a couple times during the first half, Sophia Smith was yelling at her defensive line just to get the ball out of there because they were just getting pinned in over and over again. They were just swimming. Then Ella almost gets an own goal in the end of the first half, hits the top of the post and goes out. Your thoughts on the first half? It was 0-0. Gotham's in control for the most part, but it just did not felt like they just had it.
Yeah, it was honestly a little nerve-wracking, even though Gotham was in control of the game most of the first half. The Thorns had these like moments where they were like coming at Gotham, and sometimes it only takes like one little mistake or one person not paying attention, or or if you turn or you start running a second too late, it just takes that little moment for them to score. Sometimes I was like, oh my God, if the Thorns like score and win, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But Gotham was able to hold them off, and like, I started like screaming when they called out that it was an offsides from Sophia Smith. And I saw the girl like that was like 2 rows like in front of me, like looking at me like I was crazy. And I was like, oh, I need to calm down. I was like, yeah, it was offsides. Yeah. If you saw me, I'm sorry.
You're right, though. It's with these teams that are left in the playoffs, Portland being one of them, they all have that one player like Smith, and then you got Rodman, you have Shawinga, you have Banda, who can just one moment you take a nap for a second, and they're behind your back line. And Sophia almost did that to Gotham, so I understand. It seemed like at halftime the fans were pretty nervous. I agree with them. I was a little bit nervous myself. The second half, though, I like when I get to see history happen, and just shout out to Christine Sinclair coming off the field at I think it was the 65th minute. Standing ovation to pretty much everybody in the arena. We know she's a legend, and it was magical to kind of see her step off the field for the last time.
Yeah, honestly, I was telling my wife that during the game. I was like, look, we came to Gotham's first home playoff game. And also, we get to see St. Clair play for possibly the last time in her professional career. So I was like, this is so great that we get to experience that. She has such an amazing career. I feel like, again, this is another end of an era. Like, all these players that are retiring, like Kelly O'Hara. It's, man,
Morgan.
like, that was like some of the golden years from like US and pretty much just soccer in general. And now we're going to see this new generation, and see they have done so much already, the new generation, to like put the women's game out there.
Absolutely. These goals were pretty incredible. The first one was very clever. Gotham had 4 or 5 players behind the back line around the 18-yard box, and on a free kick from way outside the box. And when the ball was played in, I think all 4 players got back on side except for one floated in, and it was Davidson. And she sat there in the middle of 6 players, and ball found her foot. She put it in the back of the net, and it is Davidson putting up Gotham 1-0. What did you think about that amazing goal?
It was so incredible, and I'm so glad that she got to score with Gotham. Especially at home in a playoff game. It was so great. I think I do have a video. I have to look for it. I'm not sure if I do or I don't, but I do remember asking Tierna Davidson, I think it was right after when she was playing with the US team and she scored twice. And I asked her if she was going to do the same thing with Gotham. So I have to find that video. and post it, because now that she scored with Gotham, it just makes that video extra special.
It does. It was a great goal, and good for her to come back and be such an impact maker. And we're going to talk more about her later. Portland gets back in it. Actually, if you're going to get scored on, make sure it's a really nice goal, I guess, because I thought that was a really nice goal from Turner. Was passed where the corner came in and then came back and then headed it back on goal. That's very, very difficult to do. So I guess if you're going to get scored on, let it be that one. And dread kicked in a little bit. I admit. I think we've been here before, where it doesn't matter if Gotham's complete control. As you said, one moment could change a game. And Portland was starting to get some momentum going. I'm curious where you were in your head at that point.
Yeah, they really were like coming at Gotham with everything. And I was worried that they were not going to be able to like defend the goal and stay like 1-1. And at some point, I really thought this is going to go to extra time. Mm-hmm. And it possibly might go to penalties, because they were both coming back and forth. And I thought it was going to be a tied game.
Yeah, and then the one ball hits the post and Berger just gets a fingertip to it. It was craziness. Yes. So Dread was definitely kicking in there. But as we talk about, Gotham's built differently. They have subs over subs over subs. They have players that can start, that are coming off the bench, like Neiswanger, Bruninha, and they bring on hero of the match. It is Delaney Sheehan, who puts on an amazing 5 minutes that she's on the field. Stevens plays a ball in. It gets down to where Esther's. This is past the 90th minute. And just first, good on, just Gotham is so fit. Esther is still running around, chasing down balls in that, like she did it in the first 15 minutes of the game. She finds the ball to Ryan, who one slip ball to Sheehan, who's making a great forward run into the box. She fends off Sagita and Sauerbrunn and turns them both, gets a beautiful ball across, and who else but Rose Lavelle in the right place at the right time. Puts it in, and that arena was just, it was unreal how loud that place got. Unreal.
Yes, it was so loud in there. 15,540 fans just screaming. Mm-hmm. It was amazing, because this is the first time that they have such a big crowd, and just a roar throughout the arena, and Cloud9 cheering. It was such a great one.
Yeah, they were deep. I think every seat in the supporter section was pretty much filled. It was loud in that arena. And you know what? Gotham moves on. We're 2 games away now. And we talked about this, but, Rose coming up in these moments is amazing. And then I just, as I said, I think Gotham's depth and their fitness just went out. I think Jenna was a great spark. Bruninha was a good spark. Sheehan was incredible coming off the bench. And the ability for Ryan and Esther to just keep pushing and being top level fitness is incredible.
Yes.
It's tough to beat Gotham.
Yes, I do have to agree with you with the fitness part, because I was looking at Esther and she kept running back and forth. She was not slowing down. And towards the end of the second half, I did notice a couple of the Thornton players, like they were getting tired. Mm-hmm. And I was like, good, I'm glad they're tired.
Esther's done that all season. She's super fit. She scores goals late, and because that's her level of fitness is incredible. And then what a night for the fans. 15K in attendance, amazing. It was, again, loud, energetic. I mean, we've been waiting for a crowd like that for a long time. And I remember those days at Yurkak Park where it's a couple hundred people, or, those games at Red Bull Arena when it's like 1,000 people, there. And I hope that we can make this a regular thing, because it was incredible. And you feel like you can't lose with a crowd like that. Just awesome. The energy was incredible. Now, last season, Ruby, I said when Gotham made the playoffs that the hard part was over. And what I meant by that was that getting into the playoffs is something that's really hard to do. Being good over an entire season is really, really tough. And once you're in the playoffs, like, anything can happen. And I said, like, all you got to do is win 3 games in a row. And Gotham was clearly capable of winning 3 games in a row. So they just had to go out and do it. And I think it's the same thing this year. I think they have a good shot as any team to make it to the finals and win the thing. So why can't they?
Yeah, definitely. We're going to talk about this later on in the episode about Washington, but like I do have to agree with you. Now, like I think that they're capable of getting to the final and probably even winning again. And that's it's going to be so crazy if they're able to like get another championship this year.
And also, I ran the calculations a while back, and I said that the 33 points was the threshold for making the playoffs. This year, with 8 teams in the playoffs, Chicago made the playoffs at 32 points, which to me says that my 33 points is golden, because if they would have gotten the 1 point, they would have been solid and in there. So I still think I'm pretty on with my 33 points being the playoff threshold. So we'll see how long it holds up for.
Yeah. Definitely, you got the magic number there.
Indeed. And then let's talk about the hero of the match. Lavelle, 66%, ran away with it. I'm not sure I agree. Do you agree, Ruby?
Oof. I'm going to split my vote. It has to be Sheehan and LaBelle.
Yeah, I am the same. Split it between the two of them. Without one or the other, that moment does not happen. And both of them are incredible. So I got Sheehan and LaBelle as a tie. But we also have to talk about Tierna Davidson, who had an incredible night on the night. 1 goal. She had 2 shots on her 2 shots were on target. Nearly 90% passing accuracy. She won 7 of 8 of her duels. She had 8 recoveries. She was all over the place, and she was solid, clean, and a physical presence on defense. Just welcome back to Tierna. And then let's first about Sheehan. I think now that we did our MVP voting last week, is it too late for me to switch my vote and put Sheehan as my MVP?
Oh my God, stop. You want to change your vote? I heard a lot of people are Googling if they can change their vote. Anyway, let's move on.
Let's talk about these playoffs. All the top seeds moved on, which, I mean, it was pretty obvious. I think these top 4 teams, or the top 4 teams in this playoffs, can beat almost every other team in any other playoff that you're going to find. These are the 4 best teams this league has pretty much ever seen. And they all kind of rolled through. And I heard it was Jeff Kassouf today said something like, he doesn't like how it's 8 teams in the playoffs. I think this year's an anomaly, and Orlando beating up on Chicago. Yes, it felt like Chicago didn't belong there, which I don't think they did. But I think, as teams get more investment and players are getting better and better, I think it would be good to see 8 teams in the playoffs.
Yes, I do like this 8-team structure that they did. Again, like it gives the other teams a chance to like come into the playoffs. Plus, we can't forget, we also getting other expansion teams. So far, Boston is coming as well. So, so it's not going to seem so bad to have 8 teams into the playoffs once you see that we have more teams in the league.
Yeah, agree. So other games that you saw, was there anything that really jumped out at you at those games?
I think the game that stood out for me was the Washington and Bay game, because I was checking. I didn't watch the game, but I was checking the score because I was busy. And I think it was like the 70-something minute, and I looked, and Bay was winning, and I was like, we were right. Like, Bay is gonna disappoint in Washington, and they're gonna be the ones like going to the next game. And I honestly thought that Bay won. And then maybe 20-30 minutes later, I kind of forgot about it. I was like, oh, let me check the final score. And I saw that Washington won, and I was like, how the hell did that happen? And then I saw that Didasco had an own goal, and that was heartbreaking, honestly, because we like Didasco. And honestly, just to be the person that scores on your own team, and that's how you end up losing and going home, it's tough.
It is. It is. We love Didasco. Yeah, there's a terrible way to go. But I did say that they had a really good chance of upsetting Washington last week, and they were close. That was close. Yeah. And I also wanted that home game. But
yeah.
But we get to head to Washington, and it's going to be loud. It's going to be raucous. I'm curious your thoughts on this game.
Oh, I can't wait for this next game. I was strongly considering going to Washington, but I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna stay home for this one, but I know some people are going, and it's gonna be incredible. Go cheer on Gotham and be loud out there. I know Cloud9 is probably like already planning something. It's gonna be a tough match coming up against Washington. Trinity Rodman is back. She was injured and she was out for a few games, but now she's back and she's doing good. So I think that's going to be a threat for Gotham. Like we were talking earlier, like a moment, a second, a bad turn, or like a distraction could like cost you the game. So Gotham has been doing really, really well in the last what 4 or 5 games already. Like, so I think they're coming in with that confidence. Plus, all these players have been playing now for a while, and I feel like Gotham has found their rhythm. They have found the chemistry. And sometimes it doesn't really matter who you put on the field. You really don't see the difference unless it's for better. Like, you don't see like, crap, like we put this player in and it messed up the flow. No, when we put another player in, it just gets better. And a perfect example of that, it's just the last game we had against the Thorns. We put Delaney in and the game just got better. So I have a feeling Gotham's going to win this one, but we cannot like be too confident. We have to go and pretty much be ready for anything.
Of all of the 4 teams, and I said this last week, I said I've never really been sold on Washington. For some reason, I always find them to like be in very vulnerable positions, and teams just cannot punish them for some crazy reason, and then they fight their way out of it. Like they got put under it with Bay, and then they ended up getting out of it by a center back scoring a goal. So they find a way to win, which is what great teams do. So maybe they're just a great team, but I always find them to be like, why can't teams punish this team? And I think they're vulnerable, and I think Gotham, if they play the way they played against Portland, I think they should be able to pull this out. Because I think, obviously a lot of what Washington does goes down the wings with Trinity, and I think putting Freeman on her would be a good thing. And I still think Nicework could probably do a good job as well. But I think if we can shut down Rodman, keep the service out of the box, I think Davidson and Sonic can handle Hatch. So we'll see. I think we get out of there. I think we make it to the finals at least.
Yeah.
And we'll see from there. One quick note I wanted to make, which is interesting about the league itself, is we saw last week, we didn't talk about it on the podcast though, I think it was before our last show, but Trinity Byers from Texas signed with San Diego Wave as the first, I guess, free agent, I guess you can call it that, college player signing with an NWSL team, which is a great step forward. That now the draft is no longer.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious to see more and more of those sign up. And I wonder if Gotham's ever going to go for someone unless they're like really, really, really special.
Yeah, we were just talking about it last week with Jenna about, how this year we're forever. We're not going to see a college draft anymore. So we'll see how these teams go about like signing players that are in college or coming out of college. San Diego took the first step, and they have signed their first college player without the NWSL draft. So it's interesting. I like it.
Yeah, Byers is an excellent player, and she's going to fill the spot where Morgan is and do it really, really well. And that's going to be a pretty good starter set with her on that front line. It's going to be good for them. And I can't wait to see more and more players jumping right to the pros, which is good. Any random thoughts before we head out?
No, I don't think I have any random thoughts today. Do you?
Did I talk about the Halloween parade and the Special Olympics?
No.
Okay. So I was at the Bethlehem Halloween parade, and as soon as I get there, my girlfriend's roller derby team is they're all dressed up as bananas and they're doing the parade. I'm there for that, but with my little. But as soon as I get there, I walk there and I go around the corner, and then there's this float, and it is the Bethlehem Special Olympics. And they remembered me, which was awesome because like 4 years ago, I coached their Special Olympics soccer team. And it was good just to connect with them. And they're such an amazing organization. And they were trying to get me to like go back. I'm like, I can't right now. I got no space for anything. But I have till next August. Maybe I'll go back in next August and coach their soccer team again. That was amazing. I coached 2 different teams, and they never made it out of the counties. I made it to silver medals in the states.
Wow.
It was an amazing season. The kids bought in. Some of them were like 50. But it was such a challenge, but it was amazing. I'm so glad I did it. Like I was, anything.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it was such a rewarding thing to do. And if you get a chance, anybody gets a chance to, those games are intense.
Yeah.
And it's a good production too. Like we went to the Villanova for the state finals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There was the Eagles were there. They had this big parade and parties and dances, and Central Avenue is a crazy big thing.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of them. And I was proud of myself for finishing that. That was really good.
That's awesome.
And that is what like sparked me to go back to finish my degree. Like I just missed being around the game and just being around soccer. So I'm grateful to them for putting that spark back in my head. And
that's awesome. Maybe you can coach them sometime next year.
Yeah, August. We'll see what happens.
Oh, I do have a random thought.
Sure.
Kind of, not really. So today I'm wearing my my Baddies Fly Together shirt that I love.
We do have
in
merch.
Our shop.
Yes, we do have merch, so go check it out. We should promote it more, but yes, you should definitely go check it out. But all right, everybody. So there's an away game. Hopefully everyone gets there safely and home safely, and we win this game. I will be at work watching this game, trying to avoid people. But all right, so we will see you next week.
Let's go.
Soccer Over Gotham is brought to you by a dedicated team of Gotham FC enthusiasts who aim to bring you the latest news, analysis, and in-depth discussions about Gotham FC and the National Women's Soccer League. This podcast is hosted by Ruby Pinto, Noella Franco, and Gary Gibson. This show is produced and edited by Gary Gibson. For more Gotham FC content, follow the show on social media at Soccer Over Gotham on Instagram, Threads, and YouTube. Also Over Gotham Pod on Twitter, X to join the community. For news and updates, visit soccerovergotham.com. To support the show, please rate us 5 stars on Spotify and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Purchase merch at the show's official TeePublic store. Search all 4 words, Soccer Over Gotham Podcast. Subscribe so that you don't miss a thing, and share the show with anyone who might listen. Word of mouth is everything. Thank you for making it this far. We will see you on the next one.